Hey guys, Kev here, and I just wanted to do my full review on the Shirogorov Quantum. So, this knife was sent in to me by my good buddy Doug. He goes by sharp_marbles on Instagram. He's an absolutely fantastic dude. He has a sweet collection. You've seen a bunch of his knives by now on my channel. And I'm just grateful that he is willing to send me this stuff. I mean, this is an $1,100 knife right here. And he just sent it to me. We've never met or anything. Like, I just love that. And anyway, so yeah, Doug's a great dude. Check him out on Instagram. Shirogorov Quantum. This is a Russian-made knife. It's an M390 steel here. It is on multi-row bearings. It is absolutely smooth as butter. And I've had it for, I think, a couple weeks at this point, maybe a week and a half. I always feel like it's forever when it's only been like a week or so. But when you have somebody else's stuff, you know, I don't know. It's kind of how it goes. I'll be sending this off to Kyle, DTOM Knives and Gear, so he can check it out next. Kyle and I started a live show / podcast on Saturday. If you were able to catch it, thank you so much. We didn't even tell anybody. We just did it. It was a test run, and I would call it a success. We had a good amount of people show up for an unannounced kind of live stream from us. So we're definitely going to be doing more of that. We have called it On the Edge, so that will be the name of the podcast. But anyway, let's start off by talking about the aesthetics of this knife. I love the look of this thing. To me, it kind of has like a Persian-y kind of look, I think, because it kind of swoops up and then swoops back up this way, which is very interesting. I guess it would be a clip point, I think is what you would call this blade, a clip point. I don't think it's a drop point because it doesn't necessarily drop, but I don't know. You guys tell me. I think it's a clip point. A trailing point? I don't know. Something like that. But very nice. You got this bead blast on the blade and the hardware. Obviously an all titanium handle here with the titanium backspacer. M390 blade just with this little kind of nail nick cutout. And then the bead blast. I'm pretty sure it's a bead blast on there. Let me know if I am wrong. So aesthetically, it's really, really cool looking. I like the look of the flipper tab and the closed position. It's very comfortable as well. The jimping there. You have this kind of flathead screw here for the pivot, as well as the hardware down here. And you have a nice titanium milled clip that works very well. I put it in pocket, carried it a little bit. I try not to go crazy with knives like this that aren't mine and are very expensive. So yeah, so that's the aesthetics. Very good. Ergonomically, this knife is very comfortable in hand. Left-handed, right-handed, it's very similar. This clip is pretty minimal and kind of comes down low, so it's not really a big deal. It doesn't stick up a lot. You have this groove here and then kind of a big groove here at the end. My hand fits very well into that. It's a larger size knife. I mean, it's not tiny. It's probably 3.6 or 3.7 inch blade, I would guess. And I get a full 4-finger grip on it. There's still a little bit left over. So, you know, I have large XL size hands. So I think even somebody with XL to 2XL would fit on here relatively well. We'll see when Kyle gets a hold of it. But it's comfortable in hand. It's comfortable to cut. I tested the edge on some paper. It cut very well. It's a pretty thin edge that it comes down to. I don't know if I mentioned it's Shirogorov, so it's Russian made. I've been getting into more Russian-made knives lately. I have a 5th 23 on the way. I checked out his Doug Snafu 2.0. I'll be reviewing that next. The Satori 2.0 and the Satori. I have that one coming. I had the 2.0. So definitely been checking out some Russian knives, which is cool because I had never even held one before that. And this was a knife that I specifically asked Doug if I could check out because I wanted to check out a Shiro really bad. I've been tempted to buy a Neon Zero, I believe they're called. And I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. Maybe it's a Hateon Zero, I forget. And then they recently came out with a lefty, actually. It dropped the other day, and I got like 20 tags in the Instagram. I was like, hey, this dropped. I was like, and I was busy that day and I missed it. So I didn't get one, but they're like $700. So I don't know if I would have anyway, to be honest, but I'll be on the lookout for one on the secondary, perhaps. In terms of action on the Quantum, the flipper tab is very functional. I mentioned before, it has this really cool design. It has this jimping here. The way it's angled is very nice. It's comfortable. You could flip this knife all day and not ever get any fatigue from it or anything. Left-handed, it works very well. Even with this frame lock, it's a very minimal frame lock. It's a wider handled blade or handle, so you don't get stuck with your thumb in a weird spot as a lefty. As a righty, obviously, it's just as good. I mean, it's better. You don't have any of those issues they're not really present as a lefty either. So I will note that there's a little groove here. It's like a little nail nick type deal. I have been able to Spidey flick it. It comes and goes. There, you can see I got it there. I wouldn't really call that a deployment method because it's kind of hit or miss. I mean, I guess if I own this, I would get used to it. See, like now I can't get it. Because you got to get it to where your finger's not covering the flipper tab or on the lock bar. You got to like just get it just right, and it's tough. So I wouldn't count that. I just wanted to note that some people might think of that, and it is an option depending on how good you are. Doug said he tried to do it right-handed, and he just couldn't ever get it. I think that's because my finger's on the frame lock here, so right-handed, it's probably almost next to impossible. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the action, so when you're talking about a Shiro, you're thinking about the drop, right? So you'll see there, when it passes that detent, it is just like silky butter. It just drops, and I'm not doing anything. I'm not shaking, I'm not doing anything, and that's something I look for in a knife. This has it. Gravity, it's on multi-row bearings, and that's kind of what gives you that awesome closing action there. But I do want to note, for an $1,100 knife, it does not have a detent ball ramp. So even though it drops like that, it doesn't until you get past this spot right here. So I don't know if you can see that. Like right here. I think there is a detent ball ramp of some sort, but it's not perfect because you still have to pass that, and then you're good. I can feel that there's less resistance than most knives. Can I see a cutout? That's the thing. I don't see a cutout for a detent ball ramp, so I don't know. Oh, yeah, there's... Okay. So I don't know if you can see it. There's a little bit of a cutout there. But it's in a weird spot. It's not... Normally you see it, like, back here. But it's actually on the end of the flipper tab. Like, down under here. Alright. Really hard for you guys to see that, but... So they do have a detent ball ramp. It's just not that good. So, but if you're right-handed, you're rarely going to get stuck there. You know, you're going to let it drop to here and then let it go. So it's not the end of the world, but I would like to have one on here, or a better one, to make it more smooth. Because part of having a Shiro is watching it glide down like that, right? And it'd be nice if it just went right away and did the smooth action. One other thing to note on action is it's not snappy. Sorry, that was me. I wish it was more snappy coming out. Like, I like a knife that, you know, really flies out. Like, this is a Vero Engineering Mini Impulse, and when I pull the flipper tab, it freaking fires out. Now, it's not as drop shot, obviously, but it fires out of there with authority. And this knife kind of just, I don't know, it just kind of deploys. It's not bad, but it's not great. So, I like a nice, snappy opening action. This doesn't necessarily have that, but the action on this knife overall is absolutely fantastic. So we talked about ergos, talked about aesthetics, talked about action. I talked about the blade a little bit. It is a good cutter. It's not, you know, the best cutter in the world. Do I have something here? So here's some just notebook paper. I don't know how well. Usually I like to use copy paper, but I mean, look at this. I take back what I said. This thing is an absolute fantastic cutter. Look at that. Are you kidding me? I need to get the vacuum up here now. Okay, that's me. I mean, look at that. It's like freaking, yeah, that's really good, guys. My copy paper, I guess maybe I misremembered the test I did, but man, that's really, really nice. So there you go. She cuts very, very nicely. Carry, I mentioned, I carried it a couple times, but not very long, or didn't go anywhere. But it goes in and out of pocket very smooth. I definitely think this is a great carry. The angle of the clip, it sits in your pocket very nice. I like that. One other thing I wanted to note aesthetically is how clean this is. So all you have on here is the M390 marking on the blade. And then you have the Shirogorov maker's mark back here, the bear, which is really cool. So then it leaves us with value and recommendations, right? So for value, we're talking about $1,100 here, at least new, I think. Probably get them on the secondary. Let's call it $900, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a Shiro expert. These are very well made. They're very smooth. I definitely understand why they cost that much money. Do I want to spend $1,100 on a knife? No, I don't. But I understand the value, so it's there. Recommendations for a righty, I think this knife is fantastic. If you have $1,100 and you want to spend it on a Shiro, be my guest. If you're left-handed, this knife works. You just got to know about this detent ball thing here. It's not going to just, you know, pass over and just start dropping. You know, you're going to have to get past the detent and then let it drop. But there's no issues with deployment or anything. Carry is very good. The flipper tab's minimal. So as a lefty, it works great, actually. So I really like this knife. You know, I'm not here yet in terms of collecting. I'm not at the $1,100 mark. But I definitely understand it. So really cool. I really appreciate Doug for sending this my way. Again, that's sharp_marbles on Instagram. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And I will catch you later.